This is The Wealth Puzzle with Michael Mansfield from the Lynn Group. When a part of your financial strategy is out of tune, your long-term goals, your retirement savings, and your legacy can all suffer. With many years of experience in the financial industry, Michael provides his clients and prospects with the information they need regarding Social Security, retirement income planning, wealth management, and much more. Listen in as we address your financial concerns and provide helpful solutions to put you on the path to achieving your retirement goals. And now, here is The Wealth Puzzle with Michael Mansfield.
Hi, everyone. I'm actually here in Ventura, so it's great to be here.
Welcome
back to The Wealth Puzzle.
She's in the closet in the other room.
Yes, they stick me in a closet.
It's on location.
There's no windows.
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
Victim.
No, happy to be here. Beautiful weather. Went down to the beach
Not today.
yesterday.
Today's gloomy.
Well, it'll burn off.
We finally had a nice few
afternoon.
days. Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Your kids are in the
Junior lifeguard program
Junior
down at the
lifeguards.
State Beach. Yes, they're
so you
having
got a
so
bunch
much
of Texas kids that have never seen the ocean being thrown in waves.
We lived here and they were
cruel and
surfing.
terrifying. See, my kids have done that before, and there was like a couple times where I'm like, they're gonna drown. What the hell? Like when the surf was really strong, I'm like, just 100 kids go. And you're like, what?
They're in good hands down there. There's a lot of leaders down there and assistant lifeguards, and so it's a good program.
Anyways, well, welcome to town, Tana.
Yes,
Tana's here for a few weeks, so if you have pressing business and urgent matters, this would be a great opportunity to call the office and get in here, because Tana is boots on the ground. She's here to handle all of your woes, to talk you off all your cliffs, to help you with all of your needs, whatever it may be. The well-tempered Tampa is Tana. Jeez, that was like a tongue twister. Gotta work on that. Anyways, down to business, because I have a lot of upsetting things I want to talk about, but what do you have that's hopefully less upsetting?
Well, there's some things that I've been reading about for Social Security. The COLA has been projected to be just over 2.5% for 2025. So less than what people received in this year, but it might increase
But that's great. That's great.
Yeah, it might.
That means that inflation is only 2.5%, right? That COLA is supposed to match.
No, it's not.
Inflation is.
It's not a good representative of that. No.
No. It's got to be, because the government has said so.
No. Darn it. It doesn't work that way, unfortunately.
There's some
it's coming in low.
funny math that goes into that kind of stuff, but whatever.
Right. There is some good news, though, with the prescription drug plan through the Medicare program. So usually
for $6,500 off behind you, so that's cool too.
Oh.
Focus on that.
Thanks. But you usually would hit a donut hole after you spend about $8,000 out of pocket. There's no donut hole for 2025.
Medication?
No donut hole. So you cap out at $2,000. So this is going to be a really interesting new benefit for prescription drug plans, because I know that's easy to hit $2,000, and then after that you'll have no copays. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out. Yeah. So that could save you a lot of money.
I learned from Milton Friedman, an economist, that there's no such thing as a free lunch.
I didn't say free. I just said you cap out at $2,000, and I'm not sure how the Medicare program is going to pay for the remainder of everyone's medications. But
me and Tana are going to eat that one, right? So
yes.
That wiggle worm thing kids buy, that little squishy thing that if you try to hold it, it like falls out of your hand and you can't ever hold on to it. If you squeeze it here, it pops out there. This is what's happening with
that. Is so true.
Is the government think, we're going to squeeze the cost over here. All it means is it's going to pop out somewhere else. So all the suckers who aren't in Medicare are just going to have higher prescription drug costs. So cool.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's going to come from somewhere, but.
Well.
And your Medicare Part B is increasing by $10. So it'll be the standard anyway. So we're not talking the IRMA penalties if you have higher income, but the standard Part B is going to be $184 next year.
Okay, so that's going up. But you got the cost of living adjustment, so it's all good. Everybody's a winner. Everybody's a winner. All right. Well, those are some interesting things. I'm not sure if those sided on the side of happy news or bad news. I guess if you have high prescription drug costs, that's good news for you.
That is good news if you spend a lot there.
I'm concerned my crazy pills will go up in cost now.
You don't take crazy pills.
Like will my opioids that I enjoy, will those be pricier? Yeah.
Oh, no.
Sitting here drooling. Interesting. Okay, thanks. So anyways, my mom, everyone knows my mom, Deborah, go out to lunch once in a while, once a week, sometimes twice a week. It just depends on the week. And we go all over the place. My personal favorite places to go are quiet places. Like, you would be shocked at 11 a.m. how dead Carl's Jr. is on Victoria. I don't even like Carl's Jr. It's gross and weird there now, and and there's an element of fear when you walk in there, but there's nobody around. It's really nice to just there and be like, fine. We used to go to, was it Avita's, the little Mexican place on Main? Honestly, didn't love the food, but I was the only person there, and I really liked it. It was quiet. We go all over the place. And so anyways, the other day, my mom and I, we say, oh, let's go take a break. Let's go get some lunch. And we drive down, and I pull into Rubio's here on Victoria.
Yeah.
Boom. And Rubio's is closed. Like,
oh no.
I was that dum-dum that actually, I walked there's a big sign in the window. I don't see that at all, right? I'm oblivious. I walk right up to the door, and it's like,
is that you in the picture right there? I see a guy right there.
Yeah, that's me. Help me, help me. So I'm like, what? Come on, Rubio's?
Yeah, it's a bummer. They had a really great salad.
I come across the national news. So Rubio closed 50 restaurants in California. And this is the LA Times, which, whatever. And there it is. The move came 2 months after the state's mandated $20 an hour minimum wage took effect. So when you read it deeper, Rubio's, which is a national chain, has restaurants all over the country, said, look, it's too expensive. It's too crazy. We can't do business in California. Those people are nutter butters. Goodbye. I'm so sad. I really wanted my Rubio's fish taco this week. But this is kind of a microcosm. I haven't seen the updated numbers from this, but prior to even seeing this last week, they were saying in the last 2 months, there's been over 10,000 layoffs in fast food restaurants. There's been reduction of hours in fast food restaurants. The average menu price is up like somewhere between 8 and 12% on all fast food things because of these things. So there's a lot of cause and effect. And it's very frustrating. I always see this kind of anecdotal thing people saying. They say the real minimum wage is $0 because when you raise it so high that you get people fired, guess what they're making now? Not
$0.
And that stinks because these are the kind of people that need those types of jobs. And we're basically, the government is pricing them out of these businesses. And so I was really sad to see that. I didn't think that was a positive. I was rather disappointed by the whole thing. And like the microcosm of Rubio's is, you think about the economic impact of losing that spot inside of that shopping center. It's probably going to take a while for someone else to refill it.
Right.
Now that shopping center is losing revenue, which then inherently causes them to maybe consider fire. Everything has a ripple effect economically. And I thought that this was pretty sad. Anyways, moving on. So Newsom owes me a fish taco. I'm writing a letter. Oh, Tana sent me this last night. She gets a kick out of this. I don't know why. I find it almost offensive that they put the people's pictures on here. But the index of consumer sentiment, it's always funny, right? Because they've got the Trump and Biden line on here. Sentiment started going down when COVID hit, obviously. Who was happy then? I wasn't. Was anybody else? I don't know. And it's since Biden took office, it's steadily declined. And the reason that this is an entertaining index that people look at is you have to line this up like what the government's saying. The government's saying, hey, the economy is great. Everything is awesome. Life is good. But behind the scenes, normal people don't feel good about anything. And it's just, there's such a big disconnect right now between what the stock market is saying, what the government officials are saying, what the politicians, and then how people, the boots on the ground, are actually feeling. Now, what's been going on lately? Last week, we had a bunch of inflation data come out. And I almost laughed out loud. So you're always up early. You're always watching this stuff. They kind of announced the numbers at like 5:30 in the morning in California. And so like last Wednesday, the inflation data comes out and it's down 0.1% below expectations. And the market's like, oh, the skies have opened up. The sun is coming through. Not in Ventura. That was over the weekend a little more. And we act like this is just manna from heaven. And I laugh because you're like, what? How is this progress? How is this good news? How is this the Federal Reserve hitting their mandate and they're going for those price, those rate cuts everyone's looking for? So here's inflation. I just thought this was a pretty clean chart from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. But anyway, so inflation obviously had hyperinflation hitting in 2022. It was at over 9%, 9.1%. And then it comes down and it bottomed out in 2023 in October. And you can kind of see here, though, for the line, what's the line been doing?
Just going up and down.
Flat.
Yeah.
Goes up a little bit. It goes down a little bit. It's a little higher than it was, a year ago.
Yeah.
How is that progress at this point? Remember the Fed saying their goal is 2%. At the rate this is going down, maybe we'll hit 2% in like 2030. I don't know. I'm exaggerating, but at the current rate, I think it would take 2 years to hit 2%. And so I was just, a little like, okay, it went down a little bit, but everybody's excited. Market went up, hot to trot. We're back on the Feds might cut by September. So here's the Fed rate watch tool that we use. This is the September meeting. There's only a 30% chance rates are the same. That means there's a 70% chance they've cut rates by September. And what's funny is if you come down here, I know it's hard to see. But anyone, if you want the website, I can send it to you. But on a one rate cut in September, if I go back a month ago, there was a 49% chance of that happening. Now there's a 62% chance that's happening. So remember a month ago, we we're like, oh, the inflation data stinks. There's no way the Feds can cut. I think we did a show that was called Bye, Bye, Bye Rate Cuts, right? That was a play on a song. If anybody got that in the headline. Now, that's funny. Later I sent that out, and I thought, I wonder if anybody got that. That was a Britney Spears song. But in any case, you go back, okay, well, let's go back a month ago. Oh, yeah, okay, so inflation is basically exactly the same from a month ago. Yet all of a sudden, the whole market's like, oh, thank goodness, warm blanket is coming. The Feds are coming to save us. So it's very interesting. I mean, obviously, the rate cuts, as we've discussed a lot, have a huge impact on everything, right? If the Feds will juice the economy, essentially. When you cut rates, you lower mortgage prices, you lower car prices, you lower all loan and debt pricing, and that speeds up the velocity of money. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, September is like the true line in the sand to attempt to get any of this to affect the election, but inflation's pretty sticky. Where's that Janet Yellen article you sent me? Let's see here.
I think it's down further.
Oh, she sent me this, and she's like, and what she said when she sent this to me was, "Look at that picture of Janet."
Oh, they don't always capture the nicest pictures of people. That's not nice.
Well, you're the one that brought it up. I wouldn't have thought that. So maybe that just means you're not nice.
No, I'm saying they should pick a nice picture on everyone.
Oh, I see.
Out
so
of respect.
I took it wrong.
Yes.
I thought you were making fun of her. Instead, you were taking a place of concern.
No.
What a great headline. This is like the world's best headline, Tana. You couldn't have found a better headline. Secretary of the Treasury Janet Yellen says the debt load is reasonable if it remains at this level. Oh, so perfect news. As long as we just stop spending and increasing the country's credit card, we're good now.
No.
What? What do you mean we're not good?
No.
That's what it says.
It's going to take a lot more than that.
It's long as it stays at this level. And so, like, if you read the guts of this, what it's saying is, as long as our economy keeps growing with our debt, the debt to GDP ratio, it should be okay. We've all lost our minds officially. That's all this means. Is this is the actual federal website for this fiscal data treasury. What is it? .treasury.gov. I would encourage everybody to go to this website and spend some time on here. There's a lot of different websites. I think more often than not, I like to use the US Debt Clock just because it's more visually hideous. But I wanted to take it real formal for everyone today, after Tana sent me that article. And I thought, okay, let's talk about this. So we've got a $35 trillion deficit, as we're seeing here on the website. No big deal. Then what happens, the federal government, who probably spent $600 million on this website or something absurd, because for no good reason, what they did is they then described to us how a deficit works. So look, I want all of you to focus on this and learn the math, because the government is helping you all understand this. If you bring in $400 and you spend $500, you have a deficit of $100. All right, problem solved. We figured it out, right? So it turns out that the fragileness of the U.S. economy and the monetary budget and fiscal budget is just simple basic math, right? And so what they're telling us is, if you bring in 600 but you spend 800, you have a $200 deficit, and those things are called debt. You now owe someone the debt. Wow, thank you for this brain surgery moment from the government. So here we owe $300. Here we owe $35 trillion. Okay, I see how this is all lining up. What's amazing about this is, remember, Janet said as long as everything stays kind of where it's at, we should be okay. So, wow, a lot of confidence there. And then you kind of go down. Oh, there's a pretty picture. I love a picture. There's the debt over 100 years. Looks like it's doing phenomenal. Good. What's kind of cool about this, though, like when you look at this chart, like you look at this time period from the 50s through the 70s where it was basically flat. And then we said, just kidding. Ha, ha, ha. And, it goes straight up like a missile. Pretty incredible. Here's our debt to GDP ratio. So this is actually that thing that Janet Yellen's talking about. This percentage right here, this 123%. They're saying that, our debt relative to our gross domestic product. So you look at these two numbers hand in hand, as long as it's right here, we're okay. But you can kind of see historically, this number also has been skyrocketing. You go back to 1980, it was 30%. It's up to almost 130%. So anybody who wants to say this seems healthy and normal, you can think what you want about them. Let's see. Here's the last decade, how our debt's grown. So a decade ago, it was 12 trillion. Now it's 30 trillion. This is a little misleading because this number, you have to actually add these together. So I said that wrong. So it's actually, 16, 17 trillion. Because what they're trying to say here is, even though we have $35 trillion of debt, 7 trillion of it's actually the government owing itself money. But, government is broke. So it's kind of our debt too. And this is my favorite part, Tana. Do you have any clue what this is? You ever seen this before?
Well, it's really small on the screen, so it's kind of hard to see.
Oh, that hurts. That hurts my feeling. I did put you on a 14-inch laptop in the closet, so I do see your point.
It does have to do with the interest on the national debt, though, right?
Yeah. So a major part of the issue is not the credit card. It's the interest on the credit card, right? If you had $100,000 on a credit card and you had to hold that over a year, you might generate these days almost $25,000 of interest that needs to be paid. So it's hard for you to pay the interest and pay down the credit card. And so what this shows is, this goes through the last 10 years, and it shows what the average interest rate is on our debt. And there's something very visual and fascinating about this. So if you can see it right in the middle of the screen, the average interest on the debt currently stands at 2.97%. So what's interesting about that is the federal funds rate is 5.5% currently. That means any debt coming due, anything right now that has to be refinanced is going to be refinanced at dramatically
At
higher
the
rates.
higher rate. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. You go back a couple years ago, you can see that we're at 1.7, 1.6. So all of the new debt, because we've been spending like drunken sailors since then, all that new debt that was issued, 1-year bonds, 90-day bonds, 5-year bonds, 10-year, all that stuff was issued at lower rates. And so as it comes due, it's getting refinanced at higher rates. And that's why the interest on our debt is skyrocketing right now. That's why it's going to be at $1 trillion a year very quickly. And to put that in perspective, we don't even bring in $5 trillion a year of tax revenue. So, geez, 22% or something of our tax revenue is going to go to interest on the credit card. So this is very fascinating to watch. Obviously, I hope Janet Yellen's right that, I'm going to read into her comment that, if we keep the debt level, I hope we can. I hope that, some fiscally responsible person does a lot of things. But I'll tell you what, 2 or 3 months ago when Biden released his budget proposal, it was $7.3 trillion. Yet we only bring in $4.8 trillion of tax revenue. So the math still doesn't seem to line up well. But in any case, boy, this has been a heavy day. Have I been too dour? Look, I put this pretty background of like the sea star and the starfish. Are they sea stars or starfish? I never can get that.
Those are starfish. Yes.
So what's a sea star then?
I have no idea. Real? I think you made it up.
I made that up. When I was a kid, there was this cartoon. It was like The Land Before Time, with like the dinosaurs. And there was a tree star. Or I think that's what it was called. Like the leaf of the tree looked like a star. And a little ducky walked around this tree star. So maybe that's where I'm getting it from. It's very nostalgic for me. My kids still watch it. Anyways, well, that was depressing. This took 22 minutes. Holy cow. We've wasted a lot of people's time today.
No.
All right. Let's wrap it up. Tana's going to come out of the closet. We're going to get some work done today.
Yeah, we got a lot to do.
We'll put her back in the closet on next Monday so that way she can talk to you guys again. And, if you have any calls, questions, call the office, 805-500-7035. Remember, Tana's in town for the next couple weeks, so feel free to reach out to us. You can get in here. We can kind of shoot the breeze about stuff. Otherwise, I hope everyone has a great day. We'll bug you soon. Toodaloo.
This is the Wealth Puzzle.
That was the wrong ending video, everybody. Whoever caught that can get a $10 gift card in front of me.